Well, welcome back, AUC kids. It's nice to see you again. I hope you've had a good week. It's been the last week of the school holidays, isn't it? So it's perhaps you've been having some fun at home, doing some activities that you've enjoyed. Perhaps you're ready to get back to doing some schooling next week. I don't know, but I hope you've had a good week and that you're getting on okay. I hope also you enjoyed last week looking at our ultimate superhero or Bible hero, and that was Jesus, wasn't it? We looked at Jesus last week. We learned last week that Jesus, even though it would be the hardest thing to do ever, he suffered the most awful death. He was separated from his Father, took upon himself the sins of the world, and ultimately died so that we could be saved. And that's amazing, isn't it? To be able to learn about that last week. Did you also watch the video about George Muller? We saw there how God provided for him when he had nothing. And today we're going to look at another missionary. This lady is called Corrie ten Boom, and we will see from that how God helps her in extremely difficult situations. Well, today we're going to be learning about another Bible hero, and that is Esther. So we're going to see how God uses Esther in a very difficult situation to save his people. We are going to see how she trusted God and how God provided for her. So let me read a little bit of the story before you watch the YouTube clip about Esther. Esther was a girl that God used to help his people in a very special way. She was a Jew living a very long way from home, in a country where the Jews were looked at with suspicion. She lived almost 500 years before Jesus was on earth, in a place called Persia, which is now called Iran. Esther didn't have the easiest start in life. She was an orphan who was raised by her kind uncle, Mordecai. He would have taught her about the place amongst God's chosen people, the Jews, and all that used to happen in the temple back in Jerusalem when he was a boy. She grew up to be a beautiful young woman with a good character and a quick mind. Esther and her uncle lived near the king's palace, and her good looks caught the attention of the king's advisors. They thought she would make a good wife for the king. But she was in competition with many other girls, because whoever became the king's wife would also become the queen. The king liked Esther better than anyone else, so she became queen, the queen of the Persian Empire. Not long after this, one of the king's advisors decided to make life very difficult for the Jewish people. No one could approach the king to try and help them except Esther. She was very scared because even the queen could not go and see the king without a special invitation. She could even have been killed for doing it. But thousands of lives were at risk, so she plucked up the courage to go and see the king, to ask him to save the Jewish people. Her courage was rewarded. The king stopped the people from being killed and punished the bad advisor who hated God's people. Queen Esther was in the right place at the right time, put there by God to save her people. In Esther chapter 4 verse 14 it says, "Yet who knows if perhaps you were made queen for just such a time as this." An orphan girl who became queen turned out to be one of the best heroes ever. So when you finish this video, then click on the YouTube video and learn a little bit more about the book of Esther and what happened. So again this week we have a memory verse, and today it comes from Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6, and it says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. We'll also have some activities to do, some colouring and some activity sheets. But also maybe this week, why not, at some point, just make some little cupcakes, and in your family have a little competition who can make the most beautiful cupcake. And, maybe get one of your parents to judge, or maybe actually send some photos to someone else and get them to judge. I don't want any families falling out. And this is just to remind us that in the story today, Esther she was a beautiful woman. She was beautiful. And she had to go into a beauty competition. And she, from that, became queen. So that might be a bit of fun this week to do that. What about also making some crowns, because she obviously became queen. So just see what you've got in your house. If you've got some gold card, brilliant. But if not, just use some card or paper, decorate it, and then maybe even put on today's verse, or just literally just trust in the Lord and decorate it. I've also suggested that perhaps this week, try and think of one person that you might feel maybe struggling at the moment. Maybe they're by themselves, and maybe they might like a little card. You could write them a little card or design a little card for them, and maybe you could just pop it through their door, or maybe give them a little phone call and just see how they're getting on. I just think that would be really nice for us to do as families, to encourage other people within the church. Okay, so don't forget to also put some of your photographs on the Facebook page. That would be great. It's lovely to see your photographs. Or if you're not on Facebook, then just send them to me and we'll accumulate things, and then we'll do another little video thing in a few weeks. But before we go, I think somebody's had a birthday this week. I think Ephraim Royal, you have had a birthday this week. So happy birthday to Ephraim. So I would sing it, but I think that would be a bit embarrassing for you. So happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day. Your mum has sent me a super picture of your cake. So I'm just going to stop this so we can have a look at the picture of your cake. Wow, that was an amazing cake. It took them all afternoon. I'm not surprised. It would have taken me days. So happy birthday to Ephraim for this week. I'm also aware that there's been a number of you that have had birthdays the last few weeks. So happy belated birthday to you guys. And maybe if you've got a birthday coming up, just give me a little text. And it'd be nice to remember your birthdays as well, because it's a little bit more difficult now we're in lockdown. We can't celebrate with our friends, but, we can celebrate with each other one way or another anyway. So, well, I hope you enjoy the AUC kids activities this week. I hope you enjoy learning about Esther and doing some of those activities. And we will look forward to seeing you next week. So, bye.